With only a few days left until the launch of Delirium, GGG has graced us with a list of 281 new notables. Today I will share with you what I think are the top 10 most powerful and interesting notables from this list. Do note that while I have ranked them roughly in terms of what I think are the most relevant, don't use this list as an absolute guide for their power. Path of Exile is, after all, a game with thousands of possible viable builds. No one could accurately predict the exact power of each node with certainty. Use this list as a general overview of notables that you should definitely keep an eye for once a new league launches. Without further ado, let's get to the list. Starting at number 10, we have the claw node, Fan of Blades. The power of this node is very evident. Being able to get an extra projectile for just a jewel slot is very powerful for skills like Molten Strike. Usually effects like these come with penalties, such as in the multiple projectile support gems or jewels like Rain of Splinters. But Fan of Blades not only has no penalty, it even increases projectile attack damage. Remember that you can also stack multiple of these new notables, so you can potentially have 3 or more extra projectiles on your character. That's a lot of balls indeed. Next up at number 9 is not one but multiple notables that have Ailment Avoidance. Flexible Sentry, Elegant Form, Anti-Freeze, and Insulated. Ailment Avoidance is one of the strongest defensive and indirectly offensive stats that you can obtain if you care about your character not dying. Getting shocked and frozen are two of the most dangerous things that can happen to you in the game, and hardcore builds will always look for ways to mitigate these two ailments. Most of the time, this task is accomplished with flasks that provide immunity to these effects, but flasks are finicky and are easily misused or forgotten in the heat of battle. Having immunity to ailments not only is better defensively, but also free up those flask slots for potentially more powerful unique flasks that provide much better multiplicative bonuses. At number 8, we have some extremely powerful notables for Ignite and burning damage. Blowback and Cooked Alive are very strong notables for any Ignite based build, both acting as powerful damage multipliers that could only be previously obtained through special items like Timeless Jewels. Even crazier is Wrapped in Flame, a notable that is really out of this world for Righteous Fire builds. Any Righteous Fire builds would have easily been satisfied to get either the damage half or the regeneration half of these notable by themselves. The fact that they are both included in a single notable that you can stack multiple times could single-handedly revive a skill that has fallen behind quite a bit throughout the years. Following the trend of multiple synergistic notables, we have Self-Fulfilling Prophecy and the many related Herald notables at number 7. Heralds are some of the most exciting skills in the game. They not only improve your main skill setup in almost any build, they also can be very powerful if you focus on doing damage with them as the main skill. Autobombers, Herald of Agony, and Herald of Purity are all builds that have proven themselves in past leagues, and these new notables are a huge boost to their effectiveness. The two nodes that deserve special mention in this group are Self-Fulfilling Prophecy, which not only provides a new scaling vector for Herald builds, but also provides an incredible 25% crit multi while doing so, and Heraldry, which provides a very high amount of 10% reduced mana reservation for Herald skills, creating new mana reservation options for all Herald builds to play with. Moving on to number 6, we have a pair of notables that provide Unnerve, Haunting Shout and Master of Fear. Unnerve increases monster damage taken from spells by 10%. If there are no other effects that increase monster damage taken, this will be equivalent to 10% more damage. Unnerve is the spell equivalent to Intimidate, and is a very powerful multiplier for most spell builds that was very difficult to obtain, reserved only to the Guardian Ascendancy or Rare Hunter Influence affixes. Adding a nerf to Curses or Warcries, two relatively easy to apply skill effects, will be a good way to obtain this multiplier for a lot of spell-focused builds. This is even without mentioning that many builds can also easily benefit from the Intimidate side of these notables, if they don't have any other easy ways to obtain that effect. Halfway through the list at number 5, we have a fan favorite, Explosions. Explosive Force, Devastation, and Unspeakable Gifts all provide chance for explosions on kill. While they're not as strong as, say, an Explosion Chest from Crusader Influence, they will still be very nice additions to almost any build that can use them. Explosions not only increase your clear speed and prevent some dangerous monster on death effects, they also are some of the most satisfying mechanics that the game provides. Explosions are also not mutually exclusive. The more explosion effects you have, the better they will chain for that satisfying screen clearing experience. Now we're getting to the top half, and we have some really exciting notables coming up. At number 4, we have Hexbreaker, and many of the related channeling nodes. Channeling skills are already strong in their own right. Skills such as Cyclone, Divine Ire, and Scourge Arrow, along with the infused channeling support, are some of the strongest in their own categories. Hexbreaker, which can easily replace any curse immunity needs, and other notables such as Enduring Focus and Arcane Adept will streamline and open up many possibilities for channeling skill builds that would have had to obtain these effects through other means. Now we're in the top 3, and we have a notable here that is so powerful, nobody can deny it. I'm talking about Deep Cuts. There's not even much to talk here. Impale has been one of the best ways to achieve ridiculous amounts of damage, and increasing the amount of hits that Impales last is extremely powerful. With normal Impales lasting 5 hits, an increase of 1 extra hit is a whopping 20% more Impale damage. Of course, usually Impale builds will find other ways to increase the amount of hits Impales last, so it will end up being less than this in practice. But the fact that you can easily stack multiple of these notables makes this a huge buff to Impale builds in general. I 100% expect this notable to be one of the more rare ones, so be prepared to spend a lot if you want to get its benefits, or get rich if you happen to find one of these. Rapidly approaching the top, at number 2 we have a captivating notable called Intensity. Now pay close attention because these names can be a bit confusing. Intensify support, the gem, is one that increases area of effect passively and allows you to gain stacks of intensity if you keep casting without moving. Each stack of intensity provides up to 16% more area damage and 12% less area of effect. Previously, there was no way to increase the maximum of 4 stacks of intensity, but this new notable, the confusingly but maybe appropriately named Intensity, breaks this limit. This opens up a whole new can of worms for certain area skills. While by itself, 16% more area damage per intensity stack is already quite powerful, the 12% less area of effect per intensity could lead to some potentially decadent interactions with skills like Firestorm and Bladefall. These spells hit many times per cast in a wide area and can also hit the same target multiple times per cast, but usually only a small portion of the total hits will hit a single target. However, if we decrease the area of the skill, it becomes easier and easier for a single target to be hit by more damaging hits. We could move from a situation where monsters hit by only 25% of the potential damage to one where it is hit by close to 100% of the hits from a single cast. Combine this with the colossal damage multiplier that you would get by stacking these notables, and you could have some truly insane damage scaling. And finally, my pick for the most powerful new notable is not one, but a whole group of notables that not only are good by themselves, but that also have very good synergy with each other. I'm talking about Warcries. Crywolf is a massive quality of life change for Warcries, enabling their effect even when there are no monsters around, and it also provides a significant increase to their effectiveness and duration. Mob Mentality provides a very powerful new tool for solo and party play. You can even combine this with a new second wind support to instantly provide 10 rage to all party members. Haunting Shout was even featured earlier in the list and is justifiably powerful for both attack and spell hit builds. Lead by example, Provocateur, Warning Call, and Rattling Bellows all have competitive effects, but Warning Call definitely deserves a special mention. You would be very hard pressed to find another notable on the tree that provides the same amount of damage increase as Warning Call, and it also provides Warcry cooldown recovery speed to boot. These notables also provide generic improvements to Warcries in the form of duration, effect, and cooldown recovery. Every one of these improvements increase in value the more of them you already have. That is to say, for example, increasing the duration of your Warcry by 30% is good, but it is even better when that base Warcry you're increasing the duration for is 50% more effective. Warcries are also skills that the vast majority of builds could easily fit. They provide strong effects even when you don't dedicate points specializing in them. This is of course not saying that you won't be a huge beast of a berserker if you choose to invest in them. And with that, we are done with the list. Remember that this is not an absolute rank of power, but rather a general guideline to look out for in Delirium. With the league launch fast approaching, it won't be long before we can see these in action. Did I miss any notables that you think should be in the list? Or do you think one shouldn't be in here? Let me know in the comments below, or discuss it with me on Discord. Also, remember to subscribe for more Path of Exile and other action RPG content.